This is Elliot Holman and James Morrison is here. Hey man, how you doing?
You're very well, good.
Awesome. First of all, we just played your brand new track called Demons.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it actually. I think because it's different to anything I've really kind of done before. It's more exciting, you know. It feels like I wanted to take a little bit of a risk on the first one and come back with something a little bit different. I think it definitely does that. So yeah, I'm pleased to come back with something fresh, and yeah, it's been a while as well. So
Exactly, it's been a while. So what's it feel like to be back and hearing your tunes on the radio again?
Really good. I mean, it's weird because it's a totally different lay. The lay of the land is different now, even from like 3 years ago. You know, there's so many artists coming out, and everything's fast. You know, but yeah, I think having the time off has made me come back with definitely more sort of enthusiasm and sort of energy and the want to sort of do it.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're back. Do you know what? We've been planning this show for ages. We've wanted to do this show for so long, but I didn't want to start it with just like a random guest. I wanted somebody who we really, really loved. And you'll think I'm joking. My producer will back me up here. I'm just going to get this out there nice and early. I love you, James Morrison. Like, I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks a lot.
I'm going to make you feel really old now. But
go for it.
I was in year 10 when your first song came
Really?
out. I was in year 10 at school.
Oh my God.
And I remember listening to it like over and over and over again. And then the second track, and then the album. Then I went to see you live. My mum is like crazily obsessed, as you can imagine. Then I just had to keep taking her to your gigs. So you've kind of just you've always been there, James.
I've been in your life.
You've always been there, and here you are on our first show.
That's mad.
I'll tell you what, I want to play it to prove it.
Yeah.
As you can see here, the full collection.
Oh, nice. I like it.
So I want you to test me.
Okay.
Let me try and get. I'm just going to plug my laptop in, and I want you. Well, where do we do it? Where is it? Here we go. Okay, test me. Go on. Start with an easy one, because I reckon I've got pretty much everything.
Oh yeah. So, like, have you got Sitting on a Platform?
I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Waiting for my train to come. Where is it? Where is it?
Oh yeah. Not many people know that song.
Where is it?
I had a guy from Stevie Wonder's band coach him. He was like, "Hey man," and he was massive, and he was like, "Are you James Morrison?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I love that song, Sitting on a Platform, man."
There we go.
Wicked. Yeah.
There we go.
Hell. You're
go on.
good.
Give me another.
I'll give you another strange one. Have you got Moving On? That'd be embarrassing now if you haven't. I'm going too far out. Wow, you really are.
You've caught me out already.
Don't worry about it. I was trying to.
I tell you what I do love. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This.
Oh, this boy, yeah.
This is like one of my favourite songs.
Yeah, right. My mum hates that song.
Why?
Because it's about her. She's like, I hate it. She's like, when are you going to write me some songs where they're nice about me? And I was like, no, it is a nice song.
I think it's a nice song.
Yeah, it's saying, it's all good, I forgive you, it's all right.
Would you now, with that said, would you now write her a nice ballad? Well,
that's the thing. I wrote her a song on the new album, and it's kind of like me saying to her, yeah, she's taught. There's a lyric and it says like, "You taught me to fly by learning to fall," which in default is a compliment, you know. But she said, "Oh, have you wrote me a song on this album?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Is it a nice song?" And I was like,
"Maybe."
I said, "It's got a bit of grit to it, you know." I said, "But you know, all the best songs are born out of sort of some sort of pain or some sort of dysfunction." So I said, you know, don't worry about it. More people are going to hear it. So yeah, she was all right by the end.
Okay. Maybe for the next album, just
maybe
write her a nice one.
Mama, I love you.
There we go. You done it.
That's not the one, I don't think.
By the way, you did a song with Nelly Furtado.
Mm-hmm.
Did a song with Jessie J.
Yeah.
Who's best?
Ooh, that's a difficult question to answer diplomatically.
We don't do diplomatically.
You know what? I'll be honest. I think I enjoyed Nelly more because it was more of a nostalgic thing. You know, like you being in year 10, I was listening to Nelly Furtado on the radio then. So it was a proper sort of trip to sort of get to work with Nelly Furtado.
I suppose, at the time, James Morrison and Nelly Furtado, that was like, whoa.
And I got to perform it with her a few times, whereas I never got to perform up too many times. I only performed it once or twice at the most with Jessie J.
Yeah.
So, but both were good experiences, you know. But Nelly, I've got a little soft spot for Nelly. She's awesome.
Okay. And what if I was to play Snog and Avoid?
Snog, what, out of those two?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'd definitely snog Nelly. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I'll probably have to say avoid Jessie.
Avoid Jessie?
I know. It's fair. It's unfair. I wouldn't avoid her.
I've never met Nelly.
But I don't think she's up for kissing me anyway, so, you know.
We can only
I'd
ask.
have more chance with Nelly, I think.
Okay, we'll put the question to her. What's a typical Sunday for you? Because obviously we've interrupted it. You're here. What would you normally be doing?
Sunday, I normally just sort of go for a massive long walk, and because I live in the countryside, so all you do in the country is either go for long walks or sort of get to a sort of pub and have a Sunday roast. I have a chilled out Sunday, man. I like going for like long walks in the country and yeah, just pretty chilled out Sunday, really. Watch some telly. If I'm lucky, I'll get to watch some telly.
Yeah.
You know, having a kid totally screws up your telly watching on a Sunday.
Do you just watch CBeebies?
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's got to that age where I kind of, the programs are sort of, you can deal with them a little bit more as they get older, you know.
Yeah.
But, I realised quite quickly after having a kid, your Sundays are screwed, you know.
Gone.
Yeah, they're just gone. You can't sort of chill out on a Sunday anymore.
Have you become strangely addicted to any like kids' TV programs?
Oh, well, my little girl, she watches Victorious and all those sort of programs, and actually a few times I've caught myself laughing at them and thought, oh God, I'm actually getting into this. Like, and Elsie, she's gone bed like 2 hours before we've still got it on. I'm like, why are we still watching this?
That is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, so yeah, my missus is well into her more than I am. She actually watches them and laughs at them properly, and I'm like, Jill, you're going to turn this over or what?
You mentioned like being out in the country. Have you ever had to live in a city because of your career or whatever, and kind of just thought, I just want to get back to the country?
Yeah, well, that's why I moved out there. I moved to Derby from Cornwall before I got signed and all that, and then I got discovered in Derby. So then I moved to London when it all kicked off. And it was fun living in London because I'd never lived in like a big city like that. But after a couple of years, I just thought, you know, this isn't for me, man. You know, I like living by the sea or where there's nature and space, and you know, all that stuff just sort of brings me back to my core a lot more than living in a city. You know, I feel a bit on edge when I'm in the city.
Let's talk about this new album.
Yeah.
And you're probably thinking, God, finally.
Nah, not
been
at all.
Here an hour.
It's been actually quite nice just chatting.
It's called Higher Than Here.
Yeah.
Talk me through that first of all, because it's really cliche for someone like me to go, talk me through the name.
No,
but like right. In all seriousness,
yeah,
like
that's all right.
I don't normally ask that question, but like,
that's all right.
What's that about?
Higher Than Here to me is like my spiritual sort of journey that I had to sort of go on.
Oh God, is this since you met Bono again?
Writing this album, yeah. I don't know. I was in a bit of a weird place when I finished the last album. You know, my dad had died. I toured it and I talked quite a lot about personal stuff. And I felt a bit like deflated, or like I ran out of energy, you know. And then I kind of felt like I had to build myself back up from scratch as an artist and try and start again musically and try and sort of create something new and fresh. And it just took me a long time to kind of get there. And I tried to deal with sort of, you know, all my insecurities and all my sort of, whether it's about my relationship or the people in my life or the way I was as an artist, all those things. Like, and once I got the song Higher Than Here, it just kind of summed up the vibe of all the songs. You know, there's a lot of songs on there that are kind of hopeful songs about getting to that place where you want to be, you know, and Higher Than Here kind of represented that place, you know.
You mentioned kind of it being a long time between the last album. How much of that time in between, how many years has it been?
I think it's been 4 years.
4 years, yeah. I was at uni, so how much of that time has been spent on the album, and how much of it is just like free time?
Well, I mean, I toured the last album for 18 months, so I mean, more than a year and a half of that was touring, and then I took 8 months off, and then I've spent the last year and a half writing. So the last year and a half, really.
Okay. And when you're not writing, like I know you said about your little girl and that. What else are you getting up to?
I got well into like going snowboarding and doing loads of stuff that I don't really get to do music. You know, I wanted to do everything that I'd never really done in a long time, like get drunk and, you know, like regularly day, get drunk, and sort of I got a little pit bike and sort of ragged that around country lanes and that, and just tried to do sort of kind of blokey stuff. I don't really, you know, like mow my lawn and like, I don't know, just normal stuff that I don't really get to do, you know, putting up a tent and making a fire and just chilling with my friends and going camping and just doing normal stuff that sort of grounds you, you know.
Because I think, like, as one thing I always find when I speak to artists and that is that they do, you know, if you're not working on an album, if you've just finished touring an album, you do have that bizarre time off that most people don't get.
Yeah,
you know, like they might have a week off work, but you can just have as much time off as you want.
It's like when I'm working, I go from, it's probably a nearly, you know, by the time I finish touring this album, it will be like 2 years period of time, you know, so by the time I finish, I'm ready to kind of do nothing, you know, because it's, you know, 2 years of being busy all the time and knowing your schedule a year ahead in advance. The thing I liked about having the time off was not knowing what I was going to do from the next day to the next, you know, that's kind of, and that was the thing that allowed me to sort of feel like, I kind of want to do something again. I'm getting a bit bored now, you know, and I wanted to get to that point, you know, so that I know when I come back it's for a reason and not just
it's not forced.
Trying to put, you know, make the units or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Where does album number 4 sit on the what I would call the James Morrison scale? Like, because obviously the first couple of albums were quite lovey.
Yeah,
the third one was a bit more deep.
Yeah. I think this has definitely gone in a more deep direction. The same as the last album, really. That's kind of what made me want to carry on in that direction, really. You know, this album and the last album are definitely, they're all connected, really, you know, from start to finish. I think that's what I've tried to make it like a natural sort of journey. But yeah, I think I definitely think this is, I don't know, I feel like this is the best one in terms of what I'm saying and the tunes and the variety of different sounds I've got on the album, yeah.